Hello and welcome to another video. My name is Boxiest, and today we're going to continue the What If series. What if events had gone differently? And in this What If, we're going to change the history of Cobra Kai. What if Cobra Kai didn't compete in the Sekai Taikai during the events of Cobra Kai Season 6? So in this timeline, Chris would still go to Korea, and he would still want to convince Master Kim Sun-young to let Cobra Kai compete in the Sekai Taikai, but in this timeline, Master Kim Sun-young wouldn't let his students compete, and he wouldn't want to get involved with the Sekai Taikai, so Cobra Kai wouldn't compete in the Sekai Taikai in this timeline. Those events would continue. Tori's mom would still pass away, and the fights to determine the captains would still happen. Robbie would still fight Miguel, and that fight would stay the same. Robbie would still be balanced, and he would still defeat Miguel, so Robbie would still be the boys' captain. Tori would still fight Sam, but she would still be fighting with anger, and Amanda would still get a call from the hospital, so Amanda and Daniel would still want to stop the fight, and much like in the original timeline, Tori would quit Miyagi-Do. Those events would carry on. Sam would be the girls' captain, and Daniel and Johnny would choose Hawk to take Tori's place. Those events would continue, so Miyagi-Do would go to the Sekai Taikai. Miyagi-Do would keep to themselves during the mixer, and they wouldn't interact much with the other dojos. Those events would carry on. The first challenge would still happen. Miyagi-Do would want to protect Robbie and Sam, and they would do protect the egg. Miyagi-Do would be on defense, and only Devin and Dimitri would go down. So it would be Miyagi-Do versus the Iron Dragons, and the rest of the Iron Dragons would still leave, so it would only be Axel and Zara. Robbie and Miguel would team up against Axel, and Sam and Hawk would team up against Zara. Miguel and Robbie would be using a combination of offense and defense, and Axel would try to knock him down. Hawk and Sam would try to take down Zara, but Zara would be able to fight them both off, and Zara would take down Sam, so Miyagi-Do would lose. The Sekai Taikai would continue. Miyagi-Do would still have to knock the other dojo off the platform. Devin would still be knocked within 10 seconds, but in this timeline, Robbie would be focused, and he wouldn't be knocked off, so Miyagi-Do would be higher in the leaderboard. And in the main stage, Miyagi-Do would be the ones to fight Polar Slate. Robbie and Sam would still start off. Sam and Robbie would be doing the circle technique, and they would manage to knock down some of their opponents, but eventually Sam would be knocked down, so Devin would join Robbie. Robbie and Devin would continue to fight, and Devin would still sacrifice herself to save Robbie. Hawk would join Robbie on the platform, and they would continue taking down their opponents, and at this point, Polar Slate would be down to its last member, and they would manage to knock him down, so Miyagi-Do would win. And much like in the original timeline, Carmen would still be rushed to the hospital, and Johnny and Miguel would have to leave. The Miyagi-Do students would still go explore Barcelona, and they would still be at the tapas bar. Robbie would be worried about Tori, and he would want to call her, but Tori wouldn't answer her phone. In this timeline, Zara wouldn't interact with the Miyagi-Dos, and she would leave them alone. And meanwhile in the States, Amanda would still try to convince Kenny to go to Barcelona, but Kenny still wouldn't want to go, and Kenny would still think that Anthony put laxatives in his water. Eventually Anthony would apologize to Kenny, and Devin would confess to Kenny that it was her that put laxatives in his water, so Kenny would decide to go. Eventually Miguel, Johnny, and Kenny would come back to Barcelona, and Kenny would still take Devin's place. The team matches would continue. Miyagi-Do would still fight Furia de Pantera, and the fight would stay the same. Dimitri and Hawk would still be arguing, and they still wouldn't trust Kenny, so Furia de Pantera would win 3-1, and Miyagi-Do would still be close to elimination. Miguel would be mad that Miyagi-Do wasn't fighting properly. He would want Dimitri and Hawk to stop fighting, and to trust Kenny. Kenny would say that he was here to help them win, but Hawk and Dimitri still wouldn't trust Kenny. And during the next team match, Miyagi-Do would fight Redentores, and Miguel would still start off. He would use a combination of offense and defense, and he would tag in Robbie, and Robbie would land the first point. Robbie would tag in Kenny, and much like in the original timeline, Kenny would get 2 points, and they would still advance in their matches. In this timeline, Miyagi-Do would fight Tiger Strike, and Robbie would start off, and he would get the first point, so Robbie would tag in Miguel. Miguel would continue the fight, and he would get the second point, and he would tag in Hawk, and he would get the final point. So in this timeline, Miyagi-Do would beat Tiger Strike. In this timeline, Viper Storm would make it to the semifinals. The semifinals would begin. In this timeline, Diego would fight Robbie. The match would be close, but Robbie would defeat Diego. Zara and Maria would fight, but Zara would still defeat Maria. Axel would fight Viper Storm's male captain, but Axel would easily defeat him. Sam would fight Viper Storm's female captain, so Sam would fight, and she would be able to beat her, so Sam would advance to the finals. Zara and Sam would fight in the finals, but Zara would be more aggressive, and she would be able to get through Sam's defense, and she would be able to defeat Sam. So the Iron Dragons would win. Even though Miyagi-Do lost, Miyagi-Do would remain open, and things would be a lot more peaceful in the valley. And that is where I'm gonna end this what if. Thank you guys for watching. What do you guys think would have happened if Cobra Kai didn't compete in the Sekai Taikai during the events of Cobra Kai Season 6? Let me know in the comments below. YouTube lets me know that the majority of you are not subscribed, so if you guys could subscribe, that would be much appreciated. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. And I'll see you guys next time.